My name is Ren. I'm an aspiring author who happens to be traveling the country right now. I'm coming to you from the beautiful Sunshine Coast in British Columbia, and I am currently working on my adult sci-fi fantasy debut novel. Today I'm reflecting on my year and thinking about the last goals that I want to set to push me through to the end of 2024. So I've been doing a lot of reflection, looking back at the goals I set for myself at the beginning of the year and where I fall in regards to progress on those goals. Some goals worked out really well for me this year, some less so, and we'll talk about it. My major writing goals for this year were to finish Project Jar. We'll talk about that in a moment. Number 2 goal was to read 40 books. I'm at 35 and counting, so I'm very confident about that goal. I definitely had a slow start to the year when it came to reading, but I had a great comeback. I binged like 5 series of unfortunate events in one day, which definitely helped. And now I am on track to surpass my reading goal, which is really great because last year I was really down to the wire and I had to do a bunch of reading between like Christmas and New Year's just trying to get to my goal of 30. So it's really cool that this year my goal was 40 and I'm feeling much more comfortable and much less rushed. My third goal was to make $1 online in some way, shape, or form. I just really wanted to say that I started the process of making money online through my writing platform. The end goal of all of this is to be able to be a full-time writer and sustain myself on my writing. That is like the ultimate dream. And of course, I'm like ages away from that, but I had hoped that this year I could find some way of getting a stream of income through my writing platforms. I have joined a couple of affiliate programs that make sense for me, like Sarah Cannon's self-publishing course and bookshop.org. I will link those in the description below. But I honestly, I don't know, I could have definitely put more time and energy into promoting those affiliates, but I mean, time and energy are two very finite resources for me right now, so I need to be really careful about when and where I'm spending my time and my energy, and affiliate programs just wasn't at the top of my priority list this year. I had really hoped to be monetized on YouTube this year. It's not happening. I've accepted it. It's fine. I've hit the subscriber count threshold, but I need the watch hours threshold, and it takes so many hours. I was creeping up there about midway through the year, and then my consistency kind of dropped off, and it definitely tapered off. I went from having a few videos that went really well, kind of went viral on YouTube, and then I stopped being consistent, and then it kind of just dwindled from there. And then it was very discouraging to look at my stats, and it took me a while to like get back into it. Part of that was also just wanting to make sure that I'm always putting out content that I'm proud of. Like I said, my consistency kind of definitely had highs and lows throughout the year, but I'm in a really good spot right now. I'm posting 5 to 6 times a week on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, now Substack. And hopefully long form videos is my next threshold that I'm going to cross, my next thing that I'm adding to my plate, because like I said, I really want to nurture my YouTube channel, and I think that long form video is a way to do that. But long form videos are such a beast and they definitely take so much work and planning. It's been hard, but I've been trying. Starting a Substack was also, well, first of all, it's a platform I've wanted to get on for a while because I've heard so many authors talk about how great Substack is. As far in the past as like last year, I was hearing authors on podcasts really recommending Substack, talking about how it's a great platform for writers. I completely agree. I feel like you can really tell that it was made by people who love writing, who want to share writing, and it really is a hub for everything you could seem to need as a writer. So I really love Substack. I am really excited to be sending out newsletters on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, so that's very exciting. And the next logical step, if I'm thinking of ways to try to achieve my top goals of 2024, The next logical step in achieving the goal of making $1 online is to turn on paid subscriptions for my Substack. It feels really weird asking for money in exchange for my writing in any sort of way, even like doing something as quiet as just flipping on that switch in my Substack settings and having the option where people can either pledge or sign up for a paid subscription if they choose to. Just turning that on feels like kind of overwhelming, even though I know that if I want to make a living off of writing, I have to give people the opportunity to pay me for my writing at some point. That's just kind of how it works. So I'm putting it off, but I think it's definitely something I'm gonna force myself to do before the end of the year, because I did tell myself I would try to make $1 online in some way, shape, or form. I think paid tier, like a paid tier on Substack, is the best way to do that, because Substack has a whole bunch of really cool features like polls. People who are on my paid tier could help me make decisions related to the book or business decisions. You could have your voice heard via polls and comments and chats and things. I would love to do writing live streams exclusively on Substack, which is a feature that they're in the process of rolling out, live streams on Substack, which is really exciting. I would still do my completely free and accessible live streams on Instagram and YouTube. This would just be like an extra thing for those people who have chosen to support me and financially in that way. So that would be a cool thing to offer. Something else I would love to do is writing workshops, like prose and poetry workshops. I would love to take some of my poems and some of my old drafts and show them to you, and then show you how I go about the process of self-editing my own work. I have a lot of experience in editing. I also did a humanities degree, which required a lot of reading of ancient texts and classics, and then writing essays, doing literary analyses, and those sorts of things. So I'm quite confident in my ability to self-edit, and I think that's a skill that every writer should try and develop and have under their tool belt, just the ability to self-edit your own work. I did not complete Project Jar in 2024. Sad face. That's not to say I didn't make a whole lot of progress. I made so much progress. Back in January 2024, I was working on draft 5, which is nuts to think about because I'm on draft 8 now. But I was working on draft 5, and I was really focused on characterization, because in draft 6, I think, is when I told myself I was going to start focusing on plot, but plot and character are just so deeply intertwined that I was struggling because my characters weren't developed enough. So at the beginning of 2024, I really tried to hone in on my characters. I made like a 55-page document with just all information and notes about all my characters. Some of that stuff continues to serve me today. Some of it has gone down the drain, especially when it comes to my main character. Her character has changed so much. Draft 8 is about 6,000 words strong right now, which in the grand scheme of a 100,000 word book is like nothing. But I have a feeling it's going to be very slow moving. Draft 7, the draft right before this one, was my slowest draft ever. It took me forever to write, but it was also my best draft ever. I was so proud of the words I was getting on the page. So I think this is going to be like that. I don't want to just set a 2,000 words a day word limit and then just write words to meet a word count and then maybe not be happy with what I'm writing. I recognize that I'm writing brand new pages, so it's almost like a zero draft in that sense, even though it's draft 8, because I'm writing brand new words on the page. At some point, I just need to get words down, and it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But at the same time, I want to be super intentional, especially about plot, theme, and character, and really make sure all of those things are really strong so that this can be the strongest draft yet. I have 3 mini goals, 3 sub goals that are going to help me push my writing as far as it can get this December. First of all, I'm joining the 5 a.m. Writers Club. If you know me at all, you're probably thinking, what the actual heck? That's a terrible idea. You're literally not going to go through with that. As you can see, I'm all the way on the West Coast right now. I'm in British Columbia, but I'm still working on an EST time schedule. So that means that my 7:30 a.m. work meetings have become 4:30 a.m. work meetings. It's going great. It's actually not as terrible as I thought it would be. I got up at 4 o'clock this morning, and look at me, up and at 'em. Talk to me at like 6 p.m. and we'll see how it's going, but that's a future me problem. I might as well try to join the 5 a.m. Writers Club. I'm already up at 5 a.m. Nothing feels better than going through your day and thinking, like, no matter what happens today, no matter what comes up, no matter what I have to do, I've already gotten words down. Like, I've already done some writing, especially if you could get like a full hour of writing. Like, you're golden. You're golden. Doesn't matter what happens for the rest of the day. And I have just never been a morning person or a morning writer, so I've had such a hard time trying to implement that. But I really want to prioritize it, and life has kind of lined up where it's like I kind of have to actively go back to bed and go back to sleep in order to not participate in the 5 a.m. Writers Club. So I'm like, you know what? Give it a shot, especially for December. This really matters to me. If I write for an hour or even 30 minutes and then go back to bed, fine, but I just really want to get into the habit of starting my day with some words. Number 2 is to try to write every Friday. Friday is my day off, and I want it to be my writing day. I'm saying 2 hours of writing on Fridays. I'm trying to set that as like, it's real in my head. I'm like, I should say like 3 or 4 hours. Like, I have the whole day. But realistically, I know that even on like the best writing day, 99% of the time after 2 hours, I'm kind of creatively depleted. Like, I'm just, nothing really that good or that quality is going to come out after that, except in like really specific circumstances. You know, I have done a 10K day like one single time in my life, and I've done 4, 5, 6K days, and it's definitely possible, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. And so in order to be realistic with myself, set myself some realistic goals, I'm trying to tell myself, okay, 2 hours of writing time on a Friday. I'd be very happy with that. I would consider that a full writing day. And since it's my day off, I would also like to do 2 hours of reading every Friday, because as we know, reading makes you a better writer. My third and final goal is actually a reading goal, and I just want to read every single day. I want to remember to update my Storygraph streak and just have a long running streak. My longest running streak is like 16 days right now. Granted, a lot of that just comes from forgetting to update the app, but I definitely don't read every single day, and I could, and I should, and I want to. So that's my third goal. So my goal for December is to join the 5 a.m. Writers Club, start every day by writing early in the morning, dedicate every Friday to writing and reading, at least 2 hours of writing and 2 hours of reading, and to read every day. These feel like very manageable goals, and I really like that they're time focused, not word count focused. Like I said, my drafts tend to take longer and longer these days to write, and I'll get very small word counts in relation to the amount of time I put in. And that's what kind of sucks about just going by word count, is that it really doesn't account for how much time it took you to write that, doesn't account for all the words that you erased. And so it's kind of out of your control, whereas the amount of time that you can dedicate towards a project is something you can directly control. Those are my end of year goals. I can't believe 2024 is almost done. We're almost at 2025, which means I'm almost 25, which is nuts. And yeah, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to stress out. But it's nuts that we're right around the corner from 2025. It's going to be here before we know it. But unless you want to like panic about the passage of time and its unrelenting force, all you can do is just, you know, take it day by day. Thank you very much for watching this very chatty Write with Wren update. I am really excited for what's to come, and I can't wait to be back in a very short while to discuss 2025 goals. That is ridiculous. I would love to hear one goal that you want to achieve from now until December 31st. Let me know down in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye. It's got right now. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. I'm gonna keep going. 3 is to, what have I said? I've said that your work, the how can I put this? As we all know, I did not complete Project Jar in 2024. Oh wow, I almost said 2023. A couple of years off there. I love the sound of all the birds. Do you hear all that? I love being in nature. Anyways,